Hey, Panda Tribe. Blessed new moon in Aries. What an interesting week this has been. I don't know about you guys, but I am taking tomorrow off because wowie, wowie, wow. I'm doing overtime. And when I'm sleeping, when I'm resting, when I'm meditating, when I'm online, when I'm at home, it is just like download after download after download. I've had to actually have my spirit guides pull me to the side and have me relax and breathe. I'm just going to start pulling some cards. Just really intense energy. It's so interesting to watch how everybody's handling everything, and no judgment, just awareness. It's just really, really wild. So I'm going to jump right into this new moon reading. Basically, I'm just, we've been doing so much spirit work lately, and with spring and Aries, and I just did the Aries reading, and I know you guys are loving the readings. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your feedback. It's been amazing. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your blessings, your donations, and thank you to the new subscribers. Make sure to click subscribe or follow me on Instagram, or both, whatever works for you, so you can see my latest posts and my latest readings, my real talks from spirit. I'm really, really revving up as a channel. I am working closer and closer with the Palladians, and just so much has been happening. So feel free to, reach out as well if you have questions, or if you, we'll talk about more stuff later, but they're saying they really want to jump in on this. But basically, from now until the full moon, Spirit wants us to really, really look inward. Ooh, drink some water. Wow, I just started. My throat chakra, which also means I'm trying to control things. So I'm going to be quiet for a minute, and I'm going to let Spirit pull some cards. Interesting. Look at this. New moon in Sagittarius. Luck is on your side. I love that we're new moon in Aries, which is the very first sign of the zodiac, and it's the fire sign. And also Sagittarius is a fire sign. Oh, I'm hearing they want to come over here. Did you notice all the kind of reds and oranges going on right now? There's just so much fire. This Aries is on fire. The energy that's going on right now is just really, really nuts. Oh, here we go. So balance spirituality and practicality. Full moon in Pisces. That makes sense. One of the downloads that I was hearing is that a lot of people, the sad thing is the people who've been making fun of people like us are starting to realize that we're not crazy. And that's a huge, heavy burden to carry. So right now, as light workers, this is when we personally have to be the leaders and balance our spirituality and practicality. And by practicality, spirit means humanity. Balancing, that's why practicality is kind of covered up by that pyrite, because balance right now, the balance is between spirituality and being human. Being a light worker, being a star seed, whatever you align with, but, being not of this planet. If you've stumbled into this group, or you've been in this group for a while or a long time, we are all light workers, right? We are spirit warriors. And even if you're curious, if you're on here and you're like, well, I'm not anybody. Yes, you are. I've been curious about this my entire life. So, I just decided to jump in. I took a major leap of faith, a major, major leap of faith. I feel bad to cover up the goddess. Look at her back there. Right? Because the truth is, we just need to see the word balance. That's the goddess of spring. It's beautiful. It's in French. It looks like printemps, but I don't think it's pronounced that way. So I wonder how. Tell me. I have to look it up. Anyway, yeah. So there's just so much going on right now. And with the new moon, they're saying this is a waning moon. I'm still learning the moon cycles, so I'm going to grab the book for a second. What do you need to release? So it's interesting because I'll have to look it up. Because I'm looking under the moon phase cards and they've got like new moon, waxing, crescent, blah, 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 blah. But I don't see what they're trying to say for waning, because I'm trying to see, gosh, if you know, please, you know me, I'm being real right now. I'm just like being real because I'm learning these cycles too. I just wanted to see what, maybe if there's another word for the waning, because the chart that I'm looking at doesn't say waning. Oh, that's so weird. I didn't even mean to, but okay, here we go. So it says the waning moon points to what's falling away. Life goes in cycles, and sometimes we need downtime or to let go. See, look, right now, no matter when in the moon cycle you pull this card, it's a sign that a situation has peaked, for better or worse, and it's time for you to go easier. It's the autumn and winter of the cycle. So what do you need to release? Almost certainly something from the situation you're asking about. This card can be very positive, but it can still be gently suggesting that you let something go and stop trying too hard, or trying so hard. The attunement to this moon is it's safe to let go and move on. And the teaching is, at the time of the waning cycle, take a moment to look up into the skies every night. You will see the moon growing smaller and smaller as she moves from full to new. There we go. That's what I was trying to find out. From full to new again, right? It's the time when things are falling away. It's certainly not the time to cling on to anyone or anything. Drawing this card suggests your situation is in its autumn and winter phase. So hunker down and start the regeneration process. So yeah, so like even though we're in spring right now, the fact that we're all getting this like, earthly time out to like kind of like take a breath and for us to like kind of reassess what's going on, everything's going to amp up faster and faster and faster. All the messages I've been receiving, the things I've been watching, the messages I've been downloading personally, this is like really the beginning. Some people would say it's the beginning of the end, but it's really the beginning. And that's what's exciting to me. So we are technically kind of in that autumn winter phase, right? Because we're still shedding. We just started spring. We're not going to start really feeling this release or feeling like right now we're in it. So sometimes when you're in something, you can't like, you don't know, you don't understand what's happening until afterwards, and you turn around and you go, oh, okay, I understand, or that makes sense, or okay, So they're saying, for this, what do we need to release? This is the time for us to think about that. Is it people? Is it places? Is it things? Is it all of the above? Is it ego? Ooh, I'm interested. I'm going to grab the fairy cards because earlier when I was going to grab the fairy cards, the ego card flipped out. And I was like, ha ha. I'm like, that's so funny because, I forgot to tell you guys the theme of this reading was also something that, like sometimes you hear something and it just like stops you in your tracks. You're like, holy shit. Well, that's what happened to me today. I was watching, I got to find it again, but I was watching this really cool show with this Palladian lady, and long story short, she said, and I'm paraphrasing because I even thought, man, I should stop and write this down, but I was in the middle of something. But roughly she said, victims don't heal. And it just struck a chord with me because one of the underlying things, I've been talking to a lot of fellow healers about this over the last week since I've come back online, and we've been saying that like we're just like overwhelmed by how many people are going into victim mode, like going into victim status, and instead of not everyone, I mean obviously there's a lot of people who are really empowered, and and the other thing is everything's so scattered in the news. So for empaths, you guys, do not watch the news excessively. If it makes you feel comfortable, find a trusted source that you really believe in their stuff, like NPR or something like that, and look at it in the morning and look at it at night. Not before you go to bed, because I don't want to put your mind there. Put your mind in really good places. Listen to really beautiful things, but in terms of, if you want to stay aware, if that makes you feel better, then do that. But if you're constantly looking at it, or you're looking at social media, because even people like, there's like 3 people right now where I'm like, I want to unfollow them, but I don't, because I get so much good stuff from them and they're so amazing. But every so often they'll put in like some real like crazy political thing. And I'm like, and though I agree with them, I'm just like, I'm really trying to stay in a high vibration and I don't want to go to a negative. So, there's enough negativity going around, and it's like, I feel like it's my job on this planet right now. Like it's like, this is like, it was a no-brainer I was going to come back online. It was a no-brainer that I was going to, like, you know, be doing this for you guys and giving free readings like this, like crazy. It's a no-brainer, right? It's my job. Like, all of us as light workers, it's time for us to work. You know, we're supposed to relax, of course, but I mean, you know, this is the time for us to like figure stuff out. And relaxing and meditating is working, right? If you're working with spirit, you're working with spirit, right? So they're saying, like, it doesn't matter how you work with spirit. It's how you, look at that, right? Oh my gosh, look at that. Let me get her in focus. Oh my gosh, awakening, right? And look at that, 12. And the 12-12 portal, look at that. Look at the yin and the yang. Well, we were just talking about balance, right? Change the way you're looking at the situation. Embrace your uniqueness, a temporary pause in the action, right? So I'm feeling like when I heard temporary pause, for some of you guys, the temporary pause is that you're not believing in yourself still. And I love you guys, but I'm getting frustrated a little bit because I'm like, how many times does spirit and myself have to tell you how special you are? Stop turning away from yourself. It's like you don't want to, it's like you don't want to grow or heal. But also I'm hearing for some of you, it's because you don't want to take the responsibility. Well, some tough love there is tough titties, you know, like, I meant to say titties and something else at the same time. Tough titties. Like, they're kind of like, go big or go home. Like, you didn't come here to play small. You came here to help lead this massive awakening, and it's not going to go back to normal. The 3D world is over. That's why everyone's like, the people who are grunting and having a hard time right now, like, I don't want anyone to suffer, but like right now, it's almost comical watching these politicians like duel each other and all this. It's like they're a bunch of children. It's like watching children fighting over a toy. And it's like, oh, for goodness sake, you just have to kind of laugh at it. You know, the fire of Aries, that's why like the oranges and the reds wanted to come in. It's like the fire of Aries is like, no, we didn't come here to do that. We came here to change the world. We came here to change the earth, right? So interesting that the Prince of Winter came in. Let me get that in focus. It's because of the light. Here, let me try from this side. It might be easier. Oh, here we go. Intellectual, determined, focused, impulsive. Seek out an intellectual solution to your problem. The need to act quickly and decisively. Sudden or unexpected changes. You know, that's the thing that I want you guys to start thinking about. If you're too much in your head, if you're too much like not paying attention to what's happening, I love how that's like winter, right? And they were just talking about the winter cycle. Also in the tarot cards, winter is pentacles and coins. You know, it's like that. So it's about finances, earth, material matters, right? So some of you, you're freaking out because maybe your job or like whatever, and you're like, how am I going to survive? How am I going to pay my bills? And Spirit's like, I don't know. You know, like I've talked about this before. I've actually been thinking about doing kind of like an update on like my story, because there's new people in our tribe and new people who don't know my story and don't know what happened. But I tell people all the time, I'm like, I didn't come out of a box like this, you know, like it took me a long time. And I lived in a vintage high rise on Lake Michigan and Chicago. I mean, even then I was struggling, but I was like, you know, trying to have this beautiful life and working 2 jobs and going to school to be a fashion designer. Like I was doing all these things and I was juggling. And I was happy, but miserable, and then happy and then miserable. And it was just so unbalanced and so messed up. And so, you know, now I live in a, 26 by 10 foot camper, with my partner and our cat. And I don't always live here, actually. I actually travel a lot too, and live and stay in other places with other, I'm kind of almost like almost homeless in a weird way. But even though I have a home base, it's like none of us, like nothing's promised to us, right? These attachments, that's why they're saying the sudden changes. Like I don't want to, sound negative, because I'm really trying to stay positive. But also I feel like when we have these readings for the tribe, they're, let the moon be your guide, right? It's like you can only ignore stuff for so long And spirit is only going to allow things for so long. And then if your life is challenging, or if it's not going the way you want it to, it's because your higher self is like, I've been trying to tell you this, like, you've known this, but you just didn't want to hear it. You just didn't want to know. Now listen, the good news is they want you to keep dancing. You know, keep dancing. And for some of you, this is literal. Like, dancing is like so good for you. I know that my friend Stacy and I talk about this all the time, because dancing like is such a happy thing for me. I'm so happy when I'm dancing. I'm so happy when I'm being creative, right? And swans, I love this one too, because swans are all about grace. You know, I got the robin bird, who's representative of Jesus, all about love and self-love. And the crow, that's all about magic. You know? Let's see what else they have to say. Oh, see? They're like, you are not afraid. Stop acting like you are. Look at, that's number 10. It's the number of completion. But look at that image. It's the whole like David and Goliath thing, right? Like, you don't have to be religious or, you know, whatever to like know that that's a really great fable, because, you know, right now it seems like we're fighting like this huge giant, like the 1%. Like, it seems like, how can we, like, they have all the power and they have money and blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, they don't have it though. Like, it's false. It's like a false illusion. It's all illusion. It's all an illusion. It really is all an illusion. Right? Give yourself the best. Give yourself the best. Take good care of yourself. Number 58. Oh, I love that, because it's the number 13. Right? My sweet witches, like, take care of yourself. Give yourself the best. You know what? We just paid our bills, and I looked at my partner and I was like, we had like a little extra money. And I said, I'd really like to, you know, get some more oracle decks, you know, to give back to the tribe, and, you know, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, yeah, he's like, that's cool. I think that's a great thing to do, or whatever. And that night I prayed on it and I said to spirit, you know, and I got a huge yes. And so the next day I started looking for, I was shopping for oracle decks and using my pendulum, and spirit's giving me like, yes, yes. And I'm like, what? And it went up to like $100. And I'm like, okay, I don't have that. And I'm like, and I was feeling really confused about it, because I was like, yeah, I don't have that right now. I had a little bit, but I was like, I didn't have that, you know? And spirit was just like, you know, trust us, sleep on it, tomorrow morning, blah, blah, blah. I shit you not. I get a message from a client of mine, a sister, soul sister. Hi, Zoe. And they gifted me with a beautiful, beautiful, generous gift. And oh my gosh, it changed everything. And I was like, oh, and I told my partner about it. And, you know, we always support each other, you know, financially, like we always help take care of each other. And so I said, what do you think? You know, I'm like, should we just like hold on to it just in case, especially with everything that's going on right now? And I just got this huge like message from spirit, like, no, like, use it in the way you want to. And so, just so you know, we've got several decks on the way. I meant to say this earlier. Hay House is having until March 26th. So today is Tuesday, March 24th. I don't know when this is going to post or when you'll see it, but and if you see it later, I'm sorry if you missed it. But anyway, Hay House is having a 50% off online store discount for the whole entire store. The online store. It's 50% off everything. And if you spend 20 or more, you get free shipping. So I just took advantage of it. And got, I mean, it's kind of weird, because like there's decks that I'm like, I want so bad, but spirit's like, nope, not yet. And some of the decks I'm getting, I don't even like, I'm not really that into, but clearly they're for our tribe and like, we're going to know. And so that's why they wanted me to point this out, because I wasn't going to do that. But then I was like, you know what? No, I'm going to treat myself. And I'm going to treat the tribe, because, you know, you guys give to me all the time. Like, you know, and every time I like am at the point where I don't have $1 to spare, somehow one of you guys will like swoop in and like send me $20 or be like, hey, you know, can I book a reading with you? Even if you're not ready yet, like, can you use the money? And I love that. So thank you so much. I hope you know how much I appreciate you. And I always put the links below, you know, if you want to contribute, you know, But otherwise, it's okay. Just like send me love in exchange of energy. Just say a prayer of good health and all that good stuff for me and light a candle. You know, that's appreciated too. So that's why they want me to talk about that, right? Sometimes we have to give ourselves the best. Oh, and then the other thing they wanted me to talk about was a few of my artist friends I noticed were really struggling. And so I reached out to them and I was like, hey, I have X amount of money. You know, is there any way I can contribute, you know, or if you want to send me something small or whatever, you know, whatever. And it's just been so amazing. And I had one friend who was just like, oh, you don't even know how much I need money right now. Like, thank you. Any like bit will help or whatever. So, you know what I mean? It's like reaching back to our tribes and like help our tribe and like our people and helping each other out. You know, that's how we help the economy too. Like, yeah, I can send, you know, $50, you know, to Red Cross or whatever, but there's a lot of people making big donations like that. And people like us, like in our small tribes like this, we need to support each other and help each other. That's, you know, it's like when, and my one friend, I said to them, you know, we couldn't even go to their wedding last year because we had made this big plan and we were going to like take this vacation and go to their wedding, and sad thing happened and our car broke down, if you guys remember that. And like, it was scary. Like we couldn't pay our bills. We were like, you know, way behind in all of our bills and our rent. It was a really, really scary situation. But then I came back on the grid and like all of you guys, like we did readings, we did spirit work. It helped me out, you know, so it comes in spurts. And now, you know, and that friend, I couldn't go to their wedding. I couldn't even afford to send them a gift. And now we have a little bit extra and I'm just like, hey, how can I help you? You know, I'm so sorry that we couldn't be there, you know, to support you and your husband then, but how can we support you now? I mean, those little things, people help me. My one friend, Jules, I just like reached out to her for, you know, some oils that we really needed. My landlord was like, I really need some on guard. And I was like, okay, you know, so we pulled together as a tribe and like, you know, she like sent me some extra oils that, you know, her spirit guides like drew her, you know, to send to me. It's like, it's all good, man. We just got to keep like paying it forward and paying it forward. And the more we do that, the like more we take care of each other, the better it'll be. And for some of you, the reason why they talked about this, and again, tough love. I'm so sorry, babes. I really do. You know, I hate to give you bad stuff. But the sudden unexpected changes are because some of you waited a little bit too long and you knew you were supposed to change careers or you knew or certain things. But the good news is it's okay because it's going to come back around. It's going to come back around. It is. And, you know, like I said, I didn't really want to live like this. But unfortunately, I knew for me to be able to like really like go through my awakening, work with my spirit guides and like really get to the place that I was born to be as a starseed, I had to do that for my life. And so for some of you, it's going to be that way for you too. You have to make significant changes now because it's not going to change, you know, the way you think it is. And get out of your head, because anything you ever thought of is in a 3D way of thinking in a place on earth that doesn't exist anymore. And it's something that I've been coming to terms with too. That's why you hear the somberness in my voice. Also, I was called to pull this card. Some of you are dealing with a past life of unrequited love, and you're still seeking out that. You're still doing it now. You're with people that only love you with conditions. And when people only love us with conditions, that's not true love. That's saying, I'll love you if you do this. I'll love you if you do that. If you're this person, if you're that person. But you know what? That's not real love. Also, for some of you, you're dealing with some past life from biblical times. It could be just like that, you know, part of the world. It could also be specifically in the biblical times. But I'm seeing that a lot of you like suffered. And so you have a loss, a fear of loss. I don't like to use the word fear or fear-based words, but you're struggling with that in this life. You keep trying to go to these jobs that have a lot of money that you can like make, you know, so you like always have money, but that's not necessarily the way. And you can have money, but you can have money doing what you love as opposed to, you know, having money from a job that you're miserable at and a place that you don't feel comfortable at, you know, and your hard work is paying off. Look at this new moon in Capricorn. Your hard work is paying off. You just have to make that last leap, right? New moons are all about beginnings. Now you need to do it. Now you need to do it. And for some of you, this is past, present, and future. It's interesting. I just heard those words because for some of you, you knew this. Like I feel like some of you are like, ugh, like, and when the new moon was in Capricorn, which is in January, I believe, or back, around that time. Hold on, I'm getting a download. I'm going to take a sip of water. Take a sip of water while I get this download. Yeah, it's almost like, do you see how like the goat is like, in some ways you can look at it as whimsy, right? You can be like, oh, look at him. But for some of you, I'm hearing that's how you feel right now. You're like half one thing and half another, right? So this is like half goat, half mermaid, mer person. And that's how some of you are feeling. Like you're not whole. You're like half of something. And it started in January, and it's just like you feel like you're peeling off the layers. Well, they said you are. That's why you have to be gentle with yourself. This is a lot of us. Also, I'm hearing that, to buck up, campers, because by the next new moon in Capricorn, you're going to look back on all of this and you're going to be like, wow, why was I worried? They're saying like no concern, no concern-based thinking. You don't need to. This transition, whatever, it's just going to get better. It's going to get harder for people who live in the 3D. Do you understand? It's going to get harder for people that don't believe in this. It's going to get harder for the 1%. Ooh, when I looked down, it was 26. So it's like, that's something, you know what I mean? But if you get out of that thinking and you start living the life that you were meant to live, you start doing the things you love to do. I just heard for some of you like singing, dancing, art. But take bite-sized steps, right? And that's 4 and 6 is the number 10, right? Because you're at the completion, but it's like, here's the rest of the star seeds. And they're like on their way to, we're warriors, right? We're on our way to battle in a good way, right? With love and light. And then you're over here thinking that you're so different, even you're different than them, right? Like some star seeds, I'm like, I feel like I'm still weirder or more different or whatever the term is than like other star seeds. Who cares? That's the whole point. We're not supposed to be the same. So they're saying this is you, but catch up. But take bite-sized steps, but just don't lose track of your tribe. I was like, oh, look at the fire. Don't lose track of your tribe. And look at that. South Node. Don't let your past hold you back. You are not your past. You are not your past. That's the great thing about a brand new day, because with every brand new day, we get to do something new. We can be a brand new us. We can be anything that we want to be. That is our gift, is free will. We can, every single day, we choose, we decide. So it says, don't let your past hold you back. The South Node, like the North Node, is a karmic point, but it's opposite to the North Node and relates to the past, perhaps even to past lives. Well, we were just talking about that. Whatever you're going through and whatever you're asking about, there's a chance that age-old programming and conditioning is stopping you from achieving all that you might. Do you feel stuck in something? This card will often come as a sign that the situation or relationship you're asking about has somehow become suffocating, even toxic. It suggests that someone, you even, needs to be released, that there's some kind of addiction going on or an unhealthy attachment that needs to be sorted out. One thing is for sure, when you get this card, you're being challenged to make some changes, even if staying where you are feels easier and safer. Your attunement and mantra is to the moon is, I release the past. I release the past. I release the past. And it says a relationship is karmic and has played out across many lifetimes. Your attraction to someone may be verging on the obsessive. And I'm hearing for some of you, you're obsessed with fixing it. You're obsessed with changing it, and it's not going to. And all of your doing is burning yourself out and burning out your energy. And that's what's making you have more anxiety, more fear, and more stress because you refuse to move forward. I can name like 10 of you right now because I just saw a bunch of your faces go across my head, my third eye. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should, right? My mom always said that. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. So think about that. The south node is where the moon crosses the ecliptic going south. On the horoscope chart, it shows us what we are likely to become obsessed with, but which will probably do us little or no good. The south node is the karmic astrological point that reminds us of the well-known phrase, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. We've talked about that many times. It's so true, you guys. And this is one for some of you that are still in the fear zone. You and your loved ones are safe. I know this is going to be really hard to take in, new moon in Cancer. And also, I feel like new moon in Cancer, it's interesting because I've been trying to stay away from even different people because different astrologers, people are all saying different shit. That's why it's better to stay the fuck away from stuff unless you have like, unless you know, like, I'm going to go to this like online thing and I'm going to have a really good time there. Or you go to this social media thing and you have a really great relationship there, 30, 55. If you remember, Spirit's been asking me to put out numerology stuff. So when it comes out, if it strikes you, go look up angel number, meaning, 30, 55 or 26, 26, like we talked about. But this said, I just heard from this spirit guide right now that by the new moon in Cancer, so many things are going to be more like revealed to us. And again, if you can understand that all of these old worlds are breaking down, like Rome is falling, okay? And that is a metaphor for the entire planet. Rome is falling. So they're saying if you can just have confidence in yourself and your spirit guides that you and your loved ones are safe, everything is going to be fine because we will be safe if you think we'll be safe. We won't if you do. You know what I mean? Fear feeds the demons and the darkness. And not necessarily good darkness. It's a time for healing. It's a balsamic moon, right? Look at how beautiful that is. It's a time for healing for the whole planet. For the whole planet. I've been talking about it. I'm like, I really hope that people don't look back on this time and go, oh my gosh, why didn't I just do this, this, and that? They're spending so much time being concerned and worried about everything that they're not even enjoying this break. So please, I implore you, and some people are still working, and if you are, man, you are my hero. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If I haven't said thank you enough across my other social media. Also, I'm hearing it's time for some of you guys to say you're sorry. The number 29 is like the end of a cycle, right? It would go to 30 and then it would start again, 31, right? So we go to the number 10s and keep going. And the number 29 means something for you guys, but it also, for some of you individually. But then also I'm hearing the number 11. So reach out to your angels to help you to maybe there's somebody out there that you need to say you're sorry to. It could be a family member, a friend, and maybe it's yourself. Maybe it's as simple as saying, I'm sorry I've been so hard on you. Give yourself a break. Give yourself a break. 3302. Give yourself a break. It's time for all of us to give ourselves a break. Ooh, fun. I love when bonus cards like fall and then you look down and you see other bonus cards. Hold on. Because if you see them, it means that they're meant to be. And look at that. Detox. Detox your body. Again, 49 at the end of a cycle. So, right. So a lot of you, like, you're right there. Some of you, you're at the beginning of the cycle and you're like, woo, and you're revving, ready to go. Awesome. That's great. Some of you, you're in that kind of like middle lane where you're like, you're kind of there, you're kind of half there, kind of, and then some of you are like at the end of that cycle, but you're just refusing to let go. Well, you know what? Start detoxing from the inside out and everything else will make sense. 3348. That is right now, I feel like what we really, need the most is just to detox our own selves. And that will help. I mean, look what's happening to the planet. We're seeing what happens when we all come together and heal the planet together. And look at that. The next one is bring love into the situation. New moon in Aquarius. I feel like this one is specifically like calling out to Aquarius energy. So if you're an Aquarian, this might really resonate with you. But yeah, and look at the water bearer, you know? I'm not looking at it as her pouring the water out. I feel like she's sucking the magical water into her vase to like just go all over the planet and like heal it. Because we need to bring love into the situation with ourselves, with our significant others, with everyone. Oh, and look at that. We had the new moon in Capricorn, and look at that. They're saying in the full moon in Capricorn, which will be, because the new moon's always in the sign. So the full moon in Capricorn, let me see. So it's going to be somewhere around the summer, right? I don't know. I'm feeling like July. I'm feeling like sometime in July, maybe 4th of July or something. I just feel like there's going to be like this really cool, I feel like something really positive is going to come of all this. It's the end of a tough cycle approaches. Look at that. See, they're letting you know. That's it, you guys. I feel really, really good. Let me just see if Spirit wants me to grab any more cards, but I feel really good about this, and I hope you guys do too. You know, there's a lot of healing going on right now. There's a lot of healing, a lot of suffering. Oh, of course, the fairies want to come through, but they said, let's take a sip of water. And I feel really good about that. So at 35, 37, if that's where it's meant to end, and maybe it'll be a two-parter again. You know, sometimes people feel like they didn't get the answers that they needed. And so, all right, fairies, what do you got for us? Otherwise, I would say this would be the beginning of a new one. Oh, look at that. And another winter cycle. We were just talking about that, right? Queen of Winter, strong, patient, self-sufficient, and funny. Let go of people or things that no longer serve you. Now is the time to focus on your career, unmarried or divorced individuals. And that, I feel like that's always up to interpretation, but look at how gorgeous that card is. Oh my gosh, the Queen of Winter. She's a badass. She's coming in strong. She's coming in. She's like, hey, we've been patient, right? Like we have been working as a collective for a long time on this. And now it's, by the way, I have to post this video because my Christmas music has been coming through again. And I feel like that's what it is. It's like, it is Christmas. And I'm getting so many messages from Jesus, you guys. I've been getting so many messages from Jesus and the Christ consciousness. I had a conversation with Jesus the other day, and I said, because I had this really cool meditation, and I said, are you going to come back? Are you like in a person right now? And like, are you going to like come back like you did at Easter? Is there going to be some like big resurrection, like something that's going to happen? And Jesus said, I am a Christ consciousness. He's like, I was a man named Jesus. And it was such a beautiful moment. And I totally knew what he was trying to say. 37:14. He was saying that, it's not about him. People keep thinking there's going to be some great Messiah, like there's one person. And it's like, no, this is like, he was just like one person in there. In fact, right when I was talking to Jesus, he immediately brought me to John Lennon. And that was really cool because he said, I'm no more or less important than John Lennon. He said Lenny Kravitz, like he was like saying all these like, funny, interesting, like I was like, what? And I realized what he was saying. He's like, what I brought was a Christ consciousness. They made a religion out of me, but he's like, I brought a Christ consciousness. He's like, my goal, is to, the Christ consciousness is to bring a balance, back into here. The fairies like to play. I'm starting to get the chills. Sometimes when spirit works through me, I've also not been eating much lately. I've been drinking a lot of water and good stuff, but like I've been in this interesting place. So it's all about, look at number 14, right? But 1 and 4 is 5, and 5's about change. And it says, take everyone's input into consideration. Merge viewpoints to create a better solution. Take your time. There's no need to rush. Yeah, that's the other thing too. I feel like people are in balance, right? And we've been talking about balance since the beginning. But I feel like people are trying to do something that's like, they're like living in this 3D consciousness. And I, for one, am grateful because I feel like I have not been living in the 3D consciousness. I have, but it's been hard to live in multiple worlds and multiple dimensions all at once, 3856. These vortexes, these wormholes, there's like so many multiple dimensions going on right now that it's like the more I see, the harder it is for me to come back to this like third dimension thinking. It's not ego. It's just, but at the same time, I'm trying to be as kind as I can through it because it's not going to help you guys. And you know what? It's interesting. The last thing I want to talk about is when we were talking about the victim mentality. I know this is going to be a hard one for you guys to hear, but it's true. If you continue to play the victim in your life, you won't heal. When someone is raped, and I know this from personal experience, it's okay to go through all the phases you need to go through to heal. It's okay to feel like a victim because you were victimized. Somebody took something from you that they weren't allowed to take. I'm using that as an example because we've all been raped emotionally, physically, mentally, on multiple planes. We've, had things taken from us that we didn't, necessarily sign on for. But that's a very base level, thinking of this world that we grew up in. But, we no longer want to take it. And it's like, I feel like what's happening is I love you guys, but there's so many people in our tribe that I'm, just from the messages or the things that you're saying to me, you're like, you're such a victim. Or like, I see your things that you post and it's very, and let me tell you, I did that too. It's very manipulative as well. And again, I did that too. It takes one to know one. And for some of you, you'll reach out to me and you ask me for help. But then when I call you on your stuff and then, you get upset with me and I'm like, well, you know what? Again, you can unsubscribe, unfollow, you know what I mean? Like, you don't ever have to talk to me again. That is your beautiful right. But I'm going to get real about this because if you stay in a victim mentality, you don't heal. And it turns into anger and it turns into frustration and you start lashing out on the world. And so if you continue to play the victim, you won't heal, you won't move forward, and you will continue to be like, why aren't things happening? You got to get real with yourself because it is going to get better. But just like everything else, we have to shift things. We have to break everything down before it gets better. 4132. Yeah. Okay, you guys. So that's our new moon reading. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hang in there. I love you. I believe in you. Continue on your path, on your journey. You are supported. You are loved. Call on your spirit guides. Call on your higher self. Continue to pray, light candles, and contribute and help. Donate your time. If you don't have money, donate your time. Even if it's over the, computer, just to give somebody something that they need right now. 4203. Let's calm the fear. Let's get that fear out of here. It doesn't exist for us anymore. Also, I'm going to leave on this note. Ooh, I guess they want both of these. I'm going to leave on this image. Take a screenshot if you need it. Look at that strength. Look at that beautiful, beautiful goddess and the lion. Take that Leo strength, another fire sign. Work with this Aries energy through this new moon until we get to the next, till we get to the full moon. Till next time. Love you guys. Blessed be. Aho.